Hey guys, how you going? Today we have a combat situation. Today we're going to be looking at what the combat is like in Albion Online and how much skill it requires. So I've heard people talk about Albion Online's combat, and I've heard just like negative things mainly, like it's really dull, there's not much that has gone into it, it's not really exciting, it's not really active and engaging and stuff, but I disagree with all of this. Now, I've played this game for over 300 hours, so I feel like I can give you guys an accurate view of Albion Online's combat. So first of all, the combat in Albion Online is similar to MOBAs. You have a bunch of abilities based on what gear you have equipped and selected. That being said, the combat is quite fast paced and engaging. You can't just auto attack someone to death and not move. It's active combat with skill shots and telegraphs, and your positioning does matter. If you're a healer and you're on the front line, you're most likely going to get blown up, so your positioning does matter. It's not like a brain dead auto attack game or whatever. Now if we talk just about skill shots, any game with skill shots immediately means that there is a certain level of skill involved, both to dodge a skill shot and to land your own. Now if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that you have quite a few abilities in this game. You've got 6. But now it all depends on what kind of abilities do we have. So I can tell you that in Albion Online, we do have the tools to do outplays. We have dodges, dashes, interrupts, we have stuns, we have sprints, we even have like a wind wall. You can even do a skillful outplay where you dash ahead of the enemy and you wind wall him back to your team, kind of like an insect ward kick. So that's just one example to show you the skill cap in this game. The difference between a low skilled player and a high skilled player can be quite high. We definitely have the tools to outplay the enemy and shine as a player. Some weapons, however, don't have as much outplay potential as others, but they have their own strengths. So some of them are really good sustain, but they don't have a lot of dashes or things like that. But some have a lot of kiting, some have wind wall and all that kind of thing. Another point is, you can't just attack anything and expect to win, in PvP or PvE. In PvP, obviously you want to kill the healer first ideally, but obviously it's like a situational thing. Like you can't just pick any target you want and auto attack and win. Like there's skill shots, there's telegraphs, you have to dodge, you have to pick your right targets. There is skill involved, it's like exactly like a MOBA. Another note that I think a lot of players will appreciate is you can 100% win a 1v2, or you could win a 3v5 or a 4v7 or whatever. You can win when there's less of you if you outplay the other people. Check out this example. So I was just walking around minding my own business, you know, as you do. Some guy just shoots an arrow right at my face. And you know what? I didn't like that. So I started fighting them. As you can see, it's a 2v1. I know they didn't start off 2v1 from the very beginning, but they have a really good chance to kill me if they just focus, you know what I mean? So this just shows that there definitely is outplay potential. You can win 1v2, possibly 1v3 depending on the gear, depending on the skill, and yeah, so on, like 4v7, whatever, you can do it. Obviously gear does play a part in it, but I promise you, if you're better and you outplay the opponent, gear won't matter too much. Unless he's like freaking 4 tiers ahead of you or something. Like I've beaten people about 2 tiers higher than me, that's quite a big difference. But it's the matchup, so like which weapon is against which weapon, the gear, but then it's outplaying and skill. And people who don't like PvP too much, but they would love to do some PvE dungeons and stuff, I've got good news for you. Well, I don't know if it's good news for you or bad news, but the PvE, in my opinion, is like really challenging as well. You've got telegraphs, you've got skill shots that you need to avoid. So can you kite? Can you attack and dodge at the same time? So check out this solo boss example, guys. He's throwing telegraphs all over the place. You have to dodge, you have to kite, and you have to attack at the same time. And you can see that totem thing at the top, spinning that laser thing. That thing hurts like hell if you stand in it. So there's just so much to dodge and stuff. The combat is active, the combat is engaging. You can't just sit there and spam one button and expect to live or expect to do any good. Look at that, I like run into that after it's already there. That's some bloopers, but I was like, you know what, I'll just show this clip anyway. I'm gonna take out my humiliation on this little girl. Die girl that's making bad noises. So we already talked about picking the right targets in PvP and you can't just attack anyone. Well, it's the same thing in PvE. When you do like a blue dungeon or a hellgate or any group kind of like dungeon stuff, you have to focus fire the same target so you can kill the targets faster. When one target dies, then there's less pressure coming onto your group and onto your tank, which relieves the tank, relieves the healers, and there's like a less chance that you will wipe. So that's another layer of skill and decision making. So that wraps it up for Albion Online's combat, boys and girls. So overall, I really like the combat in Albion Online. It's challenging enough in both PvE and PvP. You can clearly see the difference between the high skilled players and the lower skilled ones. But with the current abilities available, I feel that the skill cap is just a little underneath that of a MOBA. Like, we don't have at the moment mechanics where you can do a Z, dash to your shadow, then go back to your shadow's location, and like flash, and like so many little jukes. You do have a lot of jukes and like a lot of outplays and stuff, but just, I think in my opinion, a little underneath that of a MOBA, but it's really close. I'm a player who loves games that require a lot of skill, and I feel I get enough challenge out of Albion's combat, although I would like a little more. But hey, we can't always get what we want. Nah, I mean, who knows? Launch is 2 months away. Things could change. They could add new abilities, they could tweak existing abilities, they could change weapons, they can add more weapons. Like, the possibilities are vast. And let's face it, bubblegum mask. I don't know what that means. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like because it really helps out the channel. Also subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. If there's a bee in your shower and you don't know how to send it back to the beehive, don't ask me. Hey, I'm just Lamix.